Hi, friends. Nicole Vincent here. I am so excited. We've got Liz Saunders here of Fluencer Fruit, of Amazon influencer, of Amazon sellers, of Wayward, of all the things. Like Liz has so many different hats. She never ceases to astound me with all that she's got going on. But Liz has been in the Amazon influencer space for over 10 years as a seller and as an influencer. She also she created Fluencer Fruit, which is an amazing influencer extension to help with product research, creator connections, so many different things. And she's just phenomenal. I just love you, Liz. You're so good. So thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you having me.
So Liz, tell us about your Amazon journey, like getting in as a seller and then switching gears 4 years ago. Well, I don't know if you switched gears or just added gears. I'm guessing you added gears knowing you.
I did.
As an influencer. So tell us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I started in the Amazon space a little over 10 years ago as a seller, and I sold, get ready for this very exciting product. I sold disposable rain ponchos for kids. And
I would have never guessed that.
It's because, sometimes the money is in the unsexy products, right? As we all know, being in the Amazon influencer space, success on Amazon, regardless of which silo you're in, is about product research. And my product research as a seller led me to disposable rain ponchos for kids in multi-packs, And so I had a bunch of friends who were doing like 6-figure months selling on Amazon. And I thought that sounds really cool. I would like to do that. So I launched, and shortly after Amazon changed, I know you will all be surprised, their terms of service around
what? They changed terms of service on you?
So they changed their terms of service around incentivized reviews. So sellers used to be able to send you a product in exchange for a written review, which of course now we know is against terms. But I launched right in the middle of that terms change. So we sold on Amazon for a couple years. But in the midst of that, I went and started working at Jungle Scout, which is the seller software that I had used to do my product research, and I loved. And so I worked there for 6 years, directly with their founder and CEO, and my favorite job, like so good. But overlapping with that, our friend Kathleen Coble, who I know from some weird Jungle Scout project, was like, hey, you like all things Amazon, you should come check out Influencer. And so I did. And I was approved, I think it was December of 2021. And then back in the day, it took like 6 or 8 weeks to get approved for Onsite.
That's like, that would be torture.
It was so bad. Like, we used to just tell people, like, listen, I don't care what you're doing. If you want to eventually do this, just post 3 videos, because it's going to take forever for them to like get you your answer. God forbid you weren't approved and had to do it again. Like, it was just taking people forever. So I started that in 2021, and Kathleen and I were in like a lot of conversations about what was working, what was happening. And it just very quickly became apparent that there were no tools to help influencers. And having come from a Amazon seller tool background, I was like, oh, we need an extension. Like, we need to build something to make this product research faster. And so I started building Fluencer Fruit while I was still at Jungle Scout, thinking that it would be like an additional stream of revenue, right? We talk about how you need multiple streams, and I thought I was going to do them both. But then I ended up onboarding people at like 7 o'clock in the morning and 10:30 at night for Fluencer Fruit. And it hit so much faster than I thought it would that I was like, oh, I went to my boss at Jungle Scout and I was like, I think I have to quit and go do this like full time. And he was like, congratulations, good luck. And so that was kind of like, I transitioned. I didn't start it thinking that it was going to happen quite that fast, but it really did. So
that's amazing. So did you learn like all the coding and stuff, or whatever the terminology is for building that extension? Did you learn that at Jungle Scout, or was that something that you knew previous?
Great question. I actually am not a coder. And to this day, I do not know code. So I hired a team of developers to write the code. The infrastructure piece that I had from working at Jungle Scout from so long was being able to write a product brief that turned into a roadmap that I could translate to a technical doc for the people who were going to actually do the coding, and enough about like the technical infrastructure to make sure that I owned the final product and the code and the repos where they exist and those sorts of things. But for anybody who ever wants to start a software company, the best piece of advice I got was from one of my friends who was like, hire an independent code reviewer. And so I hired like one of my friends from Jungle Scout to just review the code because I can't review code.
Yeah.
And so he was like my eyes, so to
Oh,
speak,
cool.
making sure that, in the Amazon space, it was like working with the Amazon page code and that we weren't going to have long-term issues and those sorts of deals.
I love that because I always like, I'm like, oh, these people just must have this like code skill. But it's, I guess if you have the concept and you hire out the skills that you lack,
Yep.
like fill that in, like that's so smart. I think that can apply to so many different arenas because
Yes.
sometimes we can have these phenomenal ideas, but we just don't have the skill set to execute them, or we're missing a piece of the puzzle or whatever. Brilliant, Liz. Brilliant. I love it.
Thanks.
So you get Fluencer Fruit going, you've got your influencer going. How has that, because that's been 4 years now. So how has that, like, what has that the last 4 years looked like for you on this journey?
Yeah, for sure. So I left Jungle Scout a year-ish into Fluencer Fruits, or my influencer journey. So like my first video went live 2022. My resignation was like May 23. So
Okay.
I was doing both influencer and then developing Fluencer Fruit for that first chunk of time. And then once Fluencer Fruit launched, I realized like that there was also nobody talking about Amazon influencer in like the Amazon space and the Amazon seller space. And so a lot of what I've done over the last couple of years has been like speaking at seller events, on podcasts, on like whatever, because as much of our all day, every day as Amazon influencer is, to this day, 4 years later, I still talk to Amazon sellers who do not know what Amazon influencer is, who don't understand why we're there, how we get there, what we're doing there. Like, so there's still so much. So I've spent a lot of time doing that, developed a brand offering where through the Fluencer Fruit agency, brands could book on-site videos with us. And then a year and a half in, somewhere near there, I met the Wayward team, and they have a whole offsite offering where they have brands that they work with that offer a higher percentage commission to content creators. And I had this whole onsite offering. And so they acquired Fluencer Fruit to be part of this whole creator offering now with onsite and offsite. And so I've been there almost for a full year now, since they acquired Fluencer Fruit.
Yeah, that happened shortly after I was introduced to Fluencer Fruit. So how has that changed, as you're no longer the sole, it got acquired. Yep. So like, how does that look like does that give you more time to do stuff? Are you still doing a lot of Fluencer Fruit support? Like, what does that look like for you?
So we basically just moved Fluencer Fruit inside of Wayward at the moment, right? And so there's a couple of things that it does for me, but specifically economies of scale around the engineering team, right? So like I had a team from Upwork and I loved them and I would work with them again today. Like I keep in touch with them. And it also, from like a profit and loss perspective, is a huge part of the expense that goes along with running a software company if you're not a software coder.
Yeah.
And so they have a team of developers that we were able to kind of like move that workload over. So they already have familiarity. So there was that piece. Also the backend admin. So I can tell you that anybody who is an affiliate with Fluencer Fruit, who has been with me for a long time, knows that now somebody else is paying you because they get their payment on the exact same date every month. Whereas before it was me on the first of the month. And sometimes I'd be like, oh crap, did I do that? Because I'm doing like, every piece of it. And so it was fun to have somebody else come in and like, now they pay the affiliates and they run. So like the accounting and the back end all went off of my plate. And so some of those things, I still get to do product road mapping. I still get to obviously be in the community running that. So I got to keep a lot of the things that I really enjoy, be part of a bigger team and have somebody take some of those admin pieces that are not my passion.
Yeah, they're not. Those are like necessary evils, right? So I'm curious, like as an influencer, like is that something that you still do? Is it something that's kind of like on the back burner? Like how does that look for you since it's been 4 years in and
Yeah.
you've created this tool that I'm guessing profitability is a little bit more lucrative than influencer in most cases. Like that's what I would think. Like when I start running numbers, I'm like, this is probably more profitable than what Amazon's paying. But that's just my hypothesis. So what does that look like for you?
It
The
when you
influencer.
start running like product and marketing and everything else, you start to know that like your time split is going to have to change, right? And so very early on when I started building the software, I was working with multiple creators and their data and their like we were working like where I was scaling back on creating content, they were like scaling up. And so I worked with, let's call it 3 to 5, depending on kind of like the season,
Yeah.
where they were working closely with me with their data, with what was working. We were testing stuff on their accounts and everything else. And then over time, I have been able to like create more content. But truthfully, when you're running this piece of it, it ends up taking most of your time, right?
Yeah.
Because when my choice comes down to Nicole just sent me a request that helps her business and I have the tool that helps her business, my choices are go make another video or help Nicole. And my primary objective, because you're paying me for a service, is to make sure that I'm doing that. And so I do still do content at a much lower scale than my first year once the software really took off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what, yeah. Cause that's gotta be all encompassing for sure. So with Fluencer Fruit, and I love, like I got introduced to Jungle Scout by you just a little bit ago and I'm loving it. Such a useful tool for product research. So I want to kind of talk about like, for those that aren't familiar with Fluencer Fruit as a tool, like for me, it's primarily product research. That's where I think Fluencer Fruit really shines. And, and incorporating Jungle Scout to that was like, I'm like, I didn't think I need this, but now I'm like, yesterday I'm messaging Liz. I'm like, you got a discount code, you got a lifetime access. Like, I think I need this. But let's talk about this project research and what these two tools together can do. Cause it really, I think it changes the game, especially if you're looking to spend your time, right? Because our time is precious.
Yep.
On, are we going to review this product? Am I going to purchase this product as an investment for review? Like all the things. So let's talk a little bit about what these things can do, like as we're researching products.
Yeah. Well, like you said, time is money, right? And we have to figure out where we're going to prioritize. My goal with building Fluencer Fruit was kind of twofold with a primary focus, but the first one being my true belief that no matter where you are in the Amazon ecosystem, and I'll say it again, is that product research is the key to succeeding in any one of these silos that Amazon lets us make money on their platform, just full stop. So that, and knowing then from a data perspective, because we ran a lot of numbers around placement, around upper carousel, how many people were on there, what the commission percentage is, like what were those driving factors that we could pull quickly for creators into an easy to digest format so that they could make a decision faster, right? Because I mean, when we first started, we were like clicking in and out of every product listing. And I was immediately like, that sucks. I don't want to do that anymore. Right. Like I was like, oh, we have tools for this. But my next goal with that as the priority was to make sure that no matter where you are as a creator in the ecosystem on Amazon, that you have that information about any product you're looking at a glance. Right. And over time, when I started Fluencer Fruit, there were no Amazon sales on the listings. So there was no sales data available. And that's why I initially built the integration to Jungle Scout, was because people were using, including myself, the two tools separately. But like, I want to be able to sort top to bottom sales and filter by number of sales. So we pulled that information into the Fluencer Fruit extension to give a whole picture of not just the things that matter. Does it have an upper carousel? How many other creators are on there? What's the commission percentage? But also, what are the sales, right? Because listen, a listing can look really great, but if they're doing zero, I
That's
mean,
zero for you.
yeah, you still make zero if they're making zero. So initially that's why I built that integration, was because there was no sales information. True to form, Amazon almost immediately released sales data.
And you're like,
But as you and I both know, initially we were like, oh, maybe this is going to negate the need for this integration. But the Amazon sales information is variation specific, right? So like we talk a lot about like parent-child, main listing, variations on that listing. But like the Jungle Scout data handles everything on that listing, including all of the variations, right? So if an umbrella has 5 colors, the Jungle Scout sales estimate is all 5 colors. Whereas the Amazon data is, if you're on the red umbrella, it's the red umbrella sales data. So we show up on a carousel usually for all 5 variations. I
Yeah.
would rather know the whole listing sales data. Amazon's is good directionally, but especially once you've spent some time and you're getting a little bit more sophisticated in your product research, Jungle Scout is worth it. It's like that. Oh yeah.
It really, and I wouldn't I don't think if you're first starting out that you should get Jungle
No.
Scout right away. Number one, it is an investment. But it also is just, it's like trying to ride a unicycle when you haven't even learned how to ride a bicycle without training wheels yet.
Correct. Yes.
And I think that product research is an acquired skill, and you've got your analytics, you've got all your numbers, but you also, to me at least, there's still like an intuitive factor.
Yes.
I don't know. Like sometimes I'll get on a thing and I'm like this looks medium, but I'm having a really good feeling about this.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and get it if it's not too ridiculous in price. And lo and behold, it like pays off ridiculously.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also done stuff where the numbers look phenomenal and you're like, this is a home run, and I get it. And it's like,
yeah.
And it's not the numbers' fault, right? Because like Fluencer Fruit, Jungle Scout, like any extension can only pull the data that's there, right?
Right.
So you can't always 100% rely on the data, because like if you look at any like Apple product, for example, they're going to look like, oh, are you kidding me? Nobody has done these AirPod Maxes. Like I should totally buy these and do it. And guess what? There's no,
you can't get on the list.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why it's important that I use the tools as a screener to save time. And then I'll go into the listing that looks promising and do, lay actual eyes on it to go. But I love that with Fluencer Fruit and Jungle Scout, you can really just like going through the bestsellers or going through the movers and shakers and looking through those so quickly, just scrolling through. And it really can help your just, even if you get like a message from a seller or an email or whatever, you can look so fast to see, okay, is this actually going to be worth my time, or do I need to quote them like $300 because this is going to be a waste of my time? So I love that. So how has Fluencer Fruit evolved over the years as the Amazon program has evolved?
Absolutely. Well, my joke is kind of like all of our research is a little bit of science mixed with a little bit of art mixed with a lot of Amazon, right? So like to your point, like we're working with as much data as we can get and we can control. And then there's your gut, right? On some things where you're like, this just feels like mixing it in with what I know. And then there's Amazon, which is all the numbers looked good, but Amazon's a black box. And sometimes those things fall outside of our control. But in way of like, when Fluencer Fruit first launched, we were not doing video placement. We were not doing, I'm trying to think, creator connections did not exist yet, right? Amazon was not doing sales. So over time, like Fluencer Fruit has been very customer request led, right? So I spend a lot of time in office hours, even to this day, like users send me messages and we look and see like, oh yeah, that would be really good for everybody, right? Like, it's been very data first and customer driven. And so by that, like, we want to fill gaps that Amazon doesn't give to us. as an example, inside of Creator Hub, Amazon only ever gives us 30 days of rolling data, right?
Yep.
So if I want to see what my marker video did in April,
You're out of luck.
you just don't know, right? So the two locations you can get like your view data are Creator Hub and Creator Studio. One does 30 days and one does 12 months, and there's nothing in between. So inside of Creator Hub with Fluencer Fruit, you can run a report that like runs through your entire video library. There we go. And then you can download a CSV and store that in a Google Sheet so that you always have the data from that 30 days or whatever the case is. Keeps your placement, pulls your video link, your thumbnail link, right? Like Fluencer Fruit has very sophisticated creators who are building automations off of this one CSV. So if you've ever thought about automating a lot of your process, like I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 who basically they download that report and it like basically starts an entire process of having all of their influencer content repurposed to tens of locations. I don't say 100, although I think one of them does repurpose to like almost 100 locations.
Okay, I feel like a total lamazoid that I've never downloaded that report.
Oh, it's so fun. I
love it. Like I always am looking at my things, but I never like even occurred to me like, oh, this is how this would be useful. So,
especially now that we have AI chatbots, right? You take 12 months of your data, you drop it into Claude and be like, tell me what I need to know about what I'm doing here. Like,
I love that. So I will be going and downloading that report and repent for my sins. Well, but this is an example though, Liz, because Fluencer Fruit has so many useful tools.
Yes.
So even though that's not a report that I have ever downloaded, like there's still so much value in how I use it. And I know I do not use it to its fullest capacity. And I think sometimes with these extensions that do have so many features,
yes,
you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to know and use every single feature to make this worth the money, which I think is a lie. I don't think that we need to, because I think that I don't like whoever is doing that, kudos to them, but I don't have the skill set or knowledge to do what that person's doing.
Yeah.
And so, but the way that I've been using it has still been serving me.
Right. It's that opportunity FOMO. I feel this a lot with AI right now. Somebody coined that the other day. My friend Kristen, I just need to give her a shout out because
shout out to Kristen.
I know, it's like, oh, I'm going to take that and you're going to hear me say it a lot. But I feel that way a lot in AI right now, where it's like, oh, am I missing a new tool? Should I be using this? Am I using Claude even, like, who we know is one of my best friends, like to his fullest potential, like, you know, all those things. And it is interesting. I think with tools, as long as you're using it in the way that makes your workload, your processes easier and more efficient, then you're in a good space. Yeah.
I love that. So Claude is that an actual AI platform, or is that what you've named your chat GPT?
No, that's Claude.ai. It's one of the actual platforms.
That's not one that I've heard of. So let's transition into AI, because I know that's you're super passionate about and just like totally loving that right now. So tell us kind of like what you're exploring with AI, what you're doing with it, because I love AI and I definitely feel like I'm not utilizing to its full potential, but I definitely I feel like I use it all the time for lots of stuff, but there's always more, right?
And that's the problem. There's always more. And right now it's growing and changing so fast. So right now I'm vibe coding, which if anybody is not familiar with vibe coding, it's the fact that I am not a coder.
Okay.
And I basically like tell one of the chat bots what I want to build, and it like walks me through the process and writes the code for me. Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So this started because I was putting together like a full brief for the team that does the design on the Fluencer Fruit website. And I'm like, oh, I need an update to this pricing page, and because I need these links and this toggle, and I don't know how to do any of that. Right. So I'm like, oh, Claude AI is like my like thought partner. So I'm like, help me put this brief together. And as I'm telling the AI my brief, it builds me the web page. And I was like, oh, maybe I don't. So then I start working with the AI to like build this pricing page.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The friend pricing page for Fluencer Fruit was built with me and an AI chatbot on a Saturday, right? Like,
That's awesome.
yeah. So I was like, oh, I know just enough HTML to be able to like sub in the links that I needed.
Yeah.
So it kind of started there where I was like, this could be really cool. I think my biggest like AI right now gives you a starting place for any idea that you have, regardless of whether you can walk all the way through the process. But I was like, oh, I have this idea for a tool to help parents who are overwhelmed by school email. So I like sit down and start talking to the AI bot about it. And now I have a tool that uses AI to summarize emails from the school, categorize it by kid, by subject, gives you a summary, bullet points. You can create action items to your Google to-do list, add an appointment to your Google Calendar. Like it's all integrated inside of your Gmail account. I'm not a coder, but I just sat down and like had a conversation with Claude to write prompts for Chat's codex and then connected that to a code repo. Like
that is amazing. And I think that like that's brilliant because there's so many things that I think that we do have these ideas, but we just don't know how to execute them. And AI can be such a great tool. You definitely have to check it, right? Because it's not perfect.
Correct.
But it can be such a useful tool. I love that.
Yeah. Well, and for creators who are looking to like automate some of their processes, like one of my favorite uses for the chatbots is literally to sit down and be like, this is my whole process. What could I make easier in my life? Like what tools could help me automate this? Could I build something, even if it's just for me, that like fixes this bottleneck for me? Like there's just so many opportunities for people with not even technical skills to like build these things.
I love that. Like my brain is like going.
I know. It's a thing for people like us.
It is. It really, but I think that if we can utilize those tools in a better way, we can use it. Essentially, will make more time for us to do what we love and what we, as our individual, skill set, talents, gifts, have to bring to this world. So, the admin or whatever that admin stuff looks like in your world can be taken care of through other or more efficient means. Oh, I love that so much. So anything else with AI that you're working on, or is that the last thing?
Let me think. Well, this afternoon for the day that we are like recording, I'm going to do a live session in the Wayward creator community, creating a custom GPT for content creators to build their own media kits. And so I'm going to, because it's something we want to build for the community, it'll be a resource that inside you can go in and like build your media kit, basically. So we have an ebook. We're going to take that, work with, I'm going to do it live basically and show people how to build a custom GPT because they're so easy to build. And you can have like, I built one that will do UGC scripts in my voice, right? So I can drop the Amazon ASIN into the custom GPT and it will write a script in my voice. Now I know you don't love to script, but I like at least bullet points.
Yeah.
And so it does that, but they're just so quick. So I want to show everybody in our community how to build one so that if you have something where you're like, oh, I do this over and over again, and I could give this GPT rules and it could do it for me. Again, it just cuts our time down in way of efficiency. So that's the other thing that I'm doing with AI right now.
Oh, that'll be really fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm hopping all over the place, but Wayward community, which this is something, so like with Fluencer Fruit, you get the Wayward benefits as well.
Yes.
And so, and that community is off Facebook. So I know a lot of stuff is on Facebook. This is one that's off Facebook. But it really has a lot of support and some great resources like office hours. And that's something that I love about Fluencer Fruit is like the customer service, which is essentially you.
And Jess is in there in the inbox
Yeah.
with me too.
Yeah. So, but it's great. There is support,
Yeah.
and then we do our lives every couple weeks over on the Fluencer Fruit YouTube
Yay.
channel, which is really fun. Me and Claire.
Yep.
But that's so fun. So I'm curious, like what, because you've got this whole entrepreneurial spirit, all these creative things, but they're very atypical creative expressions, so to say, which I absolutely love, because I think a lot of people have that creative energy, but we're not great at like painting. Like my grandma painted this picture back here. Like I could never paint a picture, like art, like the typical creative stuff doesn't come easy to me, but like stuff like what you're talking about, that's the kind of creation that I like to do.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, just like as a kind of like a more digital atypical creator, like what's going on in your head all the time? Like when you're, I don't know. I'm curious because I think there's more of us out there than we realize.
So one, my kids know that they cannot have a hobby that I will not try and figure out a way to monetize for them and with them, right? Like they're like, Mom, we just want to paint. And I'm like, you could sell it on Etsy and you could paint live on TikTok. And they're like, we don't want to do content creation. Please stop talking to us, right? Like
you are a serial entrepreneur, girl.
I can't turn it off. I was talking to my mom the other day because we went home to Miami and we were home for Christmas. And she was like, we were talking about something. I was like, and this is what I would do with that. And she was like, how do you sleep? And I was like, the problem is I don't some nights, and I just, I'm like, but here's what I did, Nicole, because I'm the same. Like I would love to paint and I would have to take a lesson that would teach me a structure about, right? Like I'm very type A. I need right. But what I did was I started giving myself permission to have spinning up side businesses as a hobby. They may never go anywhere, but that my creative outlet is to buy a domain, put up a website, do the initial thought process, think through what a business might be, and then it may go nowhere. And I own multiple domains that is exactly what they are. But the permission that is my creative outlet has really done a lot for me.
And I think that is huge because so many of us struggle with it should like look like this, or if I'm going to try something, it has to be successful, or it has to look a certain way, or whatever. Like it's so cheap to buy a freaking domain. Like it's like that is like cheaper than going out to eat for lunch most days.
Exactly.
Nowadays. And so I think, especially guys, if you're not a typical creative person, but you constantly have ideas, like find a way.
Yes.
We need that. I think that fills our bucket so much. Don't you think?
100%. Like I want to be like, oh, and then I went dancing, and then I like wrote a poem. No, I bought a domain, I spun up a website, and then I went to bed happy. I was like, oh, this is great. I got a lot done tonight. I feel very like, and then the next morning I may or may not remember what domain I bought, and like, because it was just about the exercise, because there's something about like just constantly having ideas where it's like, okay, that may never go anywhere. I literally have like 4 domains right now that are in flight with different AI projects or sites that I think would be cool to build, that I'm like, maybe I'll get back to that. Maybe I won't. Like, we'll see.
And I think that's awesome. So if you are watching this and you struggle with this, me and Liz are giving you permission to play around, right? Because I think that's really how we learn, especially as women. We get very, even if you had a great upbringing or whatever, like there's restrictions that we have in the subconscious self that just really, we limit ourselves on what we can do, what we should do, what it should look like as being a mom. Are you stay at home? Are you working? Are you bringing in income? Are you not? And all of these things that just create all this turmoil. And when you have all that turmoil inside, it's no good. But when you can find creative outlets and exercising those creative juices, it is so soul healing.
And it is.
And sometimes they actually pay off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
not always. Not always. But I think that it is important for, for women to give themselves permission to experiment and play around and see
Agree.
what you like. Maybe you do like to paint. Maybe that is your thing.
Yeah.
But if you're, maybe a little, are we Gen X, Liz? I can't remember.
Gen X.
We're Gen X. Okay. So
I
if you're
am
Gen X, I know I always forget which one I am. But I know we're like a year apart. So we're like 6 months apart. So we're getting into that age, right? Where our kids are a little bit older. We have a little bit more time on our hands usually.
Yeah.
And it's, you got to step out of just being the mom or just being the whatever and find something that you love. Oh, I'm like, I want to it's like the creative juices are like itching. I just want to, it's so fun though. I love that energy though. It really it brings life into you. Sorry, that was a total tangent, but
no, I guess
it. There's going to be someone on here that's like, I needed to hear that. So you're welcome, whoever that was.
Yep.
So Liz, how has in this entrepreneurial space, which can be very, very lonely because you typically are a lone soldier most of the time.
Yeah.
How have you found I'm guessing your personality is you're pretty happy as a lone soldier, but how has finding good connections or good communities, how has that played into this for you?
That's so interesting. So my actual true self, I am as extroverted as they come. If you look at the circle, for I, which is whatever that, I am as far out on that circle as you can get extroverted. So being a solopreneur is sometimes a challenge for me. But what I have found is I have a group of women. We run, it's called Type A. It's a mastermind for driven women. And I have a group there's 5 of us in there and we're in touch every day. We talk about, we're not even in the same exact business, whatever, but we all talk about what's going on in our work that day. If we're having struggles, it gives an outside perspective, keeps us accountable for if we're trying to push a big project, through whatever. And so, because, now with Wayward, I have a team, which is great. But for 2 years I was solo, right? Literally just by myself. And so being able to have people who understand working online, which those of us, it's hard to explain to people who are only.
I talk to my computer or phone all day.
Exactly. They're still trying to explain to my parents what I do for a living. I'm I am in tech. And they're great, but having people who also understand remote work, being on the computer all day, working in socials, those sorts of things is really healing. Regardless of whether they're not all in creator or affiliate or tech, even we're just in totally different spaces. And so we just talk a lot about whatever's going on. So they're my coworkers.
Yeah. And that can be it just helps to have other people that are in the boat with you.
Correct. Exactly. We joke, same dock, different boat.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Because it definitely, I think it can be lonely and you can feel I don't know. I think when you're trying to do, whether it's Amazon influencer or if you're Amazon seller or whatever you're doing, if you're doing it by yourself and you don't have anything to compare it to, you're am I and I'm not one for comparison for because I think it is the thief of joy, but you also should be aware of what is kind of a norm.
Yes.
And taking into consideration, okay, well, what if you have 5 little kids at home? Then your norm's probably going to look different than me, who my youngest is 17. And so I have all the time in the world. Right. But I think that it's important to have those communities. And is it Type A? Is that something that people can join? Is that something or is just, okay, cool. That is
women can join. Sorry. It is a women's only community. Type A is, but if you're a creator looking for a community, the Wayward creator community is open to all creators.
Oh, is that open to all creators?
Yeah. So the Wayward creator community has a free tier and then a paid tier. And you can get into the paid tier either by being a Fluencer Fruit subscriber, or there is just a paid $39 a month for the paid portion of the community, no tool included. So
okay. Very cool.
Yeah. But to your point, normalizing, not necessarily comparing what you're doing. We have so much fun in office hours, just people talking about have you guys seen this? I find when you work from home and you're by yourself all the time, even if you have a team, like being able to ask people questions about what they're seeing adds a lot of validity to things that you otherwise in a vacuum might not know other people are seeing. So a lot of
Yeah.
our conversation in office hours,
Well,
in
hold
the
on. I'm gonna have you
community.
pause real quick. Tell us like what office hours are. Like I know the
Yes.
definition of office hours, but when you say office hours, what does that look like for
Yes.
those that are not familiar?
Thank you. Influencer Fruit. So in the Wayward creator community, every Thursday at 11 a.m., I do office hours. And what that looks like is I'll usually show up with like something for us to talk about or learn. And then we take questions, comments, concerns. We talk about updates to the extension. And what normally happens is after about like the first 20 minutes of like things that I have in way of like discussion topics, we're usually like off and down to the races on things that everybody's seeing, wants to ask questions about. And I always love when I don't know the answer to something and somebody else in the community does, because it's so fun to see like everybody support everybody. So in our office hours on Thursdays, we show up and we just have a lot of really good conversation, but we see a lot of that like community validation around. Otherwise, where would you ask? Like you can ask people in writing, and that's great. All of the groups have that. The live office hours really give you an opportunity to have conversations that sometimes you just need somebody to answer that one question, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, could I just ask this and then have somebody verbally explain it back to me? And so we do a lot of that in office hours.
Yeah. And
too.
it's so it's a live video format for those
Yeah,
that
I'm live. Yep.
And like I'm terrible. I haven't joined because I teach a class during that time.
That's okay.
But they like you can even go back and the recordings are
Yep.
within the Wayward community. So you can go
Yes.
back and look at those if the time slot doesn't work for you. But that is just a really great asset to connect with other creators, other influencers that are,
Yes.
you know,
And
go
if you can't make it live, but you want to ask me a question, I have people who will like DM me, be like, hey, can you talk about this in office hours? And I'll talk about it even when they can't make it. And then they watch the
Oh,
recording.
awesome.
So if for some reason you're like, I have a full-time job or I have to teach, or we have a lot of people that just make the recordings as well.
Yeah. That's such an awesome resource because I think that adds so much value
Yeah.
to be able to hop on with a live call with somebody like you that's been like you've been in this program, you've been on both sides of the Amazon. You know your stuff and you're just always so helpful because I ask you stupid questions all the time and you're always so nice to
No
me.
such thing. Yeah.
So Liz, what is your 2026? Like what are you looking forward to this year
Mhm.
with Fluencer Fruit or with your other projects? Like what are you excited about this year?
Well, you want to be the first to announce part of a new feature Influencer Fruit?
I would love that.
So I'm really excited about some of the stuff we have coming down the pipeline, Influencer Fruit. An update that I pushed today that will be gated but will be coming soon is a Logie integration. So
Oh, that'll be awesome.
so anybody in the influencer space who's doing Logie products in addition to, we will have now the ability, Influencer Fruit, where you've got the megaphone that says there's a creator connections campaign. There will now also be a little blue circle that says there is a Logie campaign. For those of us
Nice.
that focus on Onsite, Logie is the only third party that does Onsite additional commission that is not creator connection. So those are your
Yeah.
two places. And so I'm working with EHUD on getting that integration. And so it will be live here in the next couple days. So
That is
that's
awesome.
Mhm.
That'll be a great resource.
Yeah. When we talk about product research, right? Like now we're at a point in the program where it really is about picking the right product, and the right product is most likely going to be one that includes multiple sources of commission from the
Yep.
same piece of content, right?
Yep.
So like Logie, creator connections, Wayward, regular commission, brand deals. And so, especially since Fluencer Fruit is specifically built for on-site creators and Logie is the other place that we can earn money off of the same pieces of content, I'm really psyched about this because without this currently, you have to like go into the Logie platform, find a product. There's not like another extension. Logie doesn't
Yeah.
have an extension, right? Like, so this will be a good way for people when they're shopping to be like, there it is. Logie, creator connections, Wayward. You can make money all the ways and pick the best
Oh,
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. That is super exciting.
Yeah. We're very
That,
pumped.
that will be huge. Oh, okay. So that's good news to start off 2026. Anything
Yeah.
else?
We have some other things coming down the pipeline that I'm really pumped about. There are some things that I will not talk about publicly yet, but as we build to be a more like comprehensive location for content creators, I think it's going to open some doors for people who are currently only doing Onsite who want to expand, and vice versa, people who are doing Offsite who want to learn and add influencer, because we're all under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of crossover, but there's opportunities where we can help people who are on one side or the other kind of like add.
I like that. That'll be exciting. I'll be watching. So fun. Anything in your personal, like other ventures?
Well, one of the things that I'm enjoying with Inboxed, which is the tool for parents, is not having a timeline on it. So to our like creative, initially I was like, I'm going to launch it in January. I was like, why am I putting this like fake pressure on myself? I was like, I'm literally coding.
You recognize it was fake pressure.
Fake pressure, 100%. Like type A, high achieving, driven, whatever kind of like idiosyncrasies I have. I was like, oh, I don't have to do that. I can just continue enjoying this build. But I am excited about getting that across the finish line. I actually just finished a beta with like 20 users with a lot of feedback, which I'm really excited about. So now I'll kind of like close all the feedback down. I mean, they'll still have access and they'll still be able to tell me what they're thinking, but I actually weirdly have the biggest piece of feedback from being a user of the software myself, where I'm going to go make a pretty significant change to how it operates. I was like, oh, I kind of hate this one thing. Like, I'm going to go totally change this.
Oh, how funny.
So I really, whether it's Inboxed or whatever, I'm looking forward to building small spinoffs that help make my life easier and more effective so that I can be more present in my evenings with my kids. You and I are in the same season, right? Your youngest is 17. My youngest is 16. So I have 16, 18, and 19. And boy, I find myself counting down, like just holding on to family dinners or any time that they all want to play darts with me or like whatever else.
Yeah.
Right before we jumped on, right, my 19-year-old was like, can you come help me buzz up this spot in the back of my head? I was like, yes. Like, so I want to utilize all of that fun automation work to enable more time before they head out on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I think that that's something that is important. Like, get the work done, but get it done so you can be present with those that you love, whether it's your kids, your partner, your pet, whatever. Because divided attention is just, it's not good for anyone.
No. One of the things I have to work on, and I don't know if this is true of you, is transitioning, right? So like, this is my office. It's inside the house. As soon as I walk outside that door, like family, right? And which is fantastic. But when I had a traditional office job, so when I worked at Jungle Scout, I would go into the office down in East Austin, and we live in like the Northwest. So it was like a decent commute.
Yeah.
I had a transition buffer.
Yeah.
So by the time I made it home, work was off.
Yeah.
Right. And so I need to figure out what that looks like inside the house, because it's not something that I'm naturally good at.
I think it definitely takes practice, because it's like the kids just finally went back to school yesterday.
Yes.
And I was like, thank goodness. I love my kids, but I also want them to leave.
Yes.
But it is hard, because you are having to switch to mom mode, to work mode. And if you're in a really good thought process, or you're in the middle of something, and then somebody like asks you for something, it's like, I try not to be the witchy mother because you interrupted my thought process or what I was trying to do, because my brain is like hyper focused and you're screwing
Yeah.
with my hyper focus and all
Yeah.
the things. It's tough. But I think it's something that if we can be aware of it, we can
Yes.
create some little rituals, even if it's like taking a deep breath when we walk outside of the door of our office,
Yes.
or what have you, or, hey, like when you do have older kids, you can say, look, it's working time. Like, don't bug me. But sometimes when you have little kids, like that's not really an
Yeah, that's
option.
not possible. They're like, what?
Like, yeah. So, but find something that works for you. Cause that is a legit struggle. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Especially if you've like, for me, I haven't worked at a place of work since I was like teenager, young 20s.
Yeah.
And so any work I've done, I've had to do while I had little kids running all the way around me, or, whatever. And so it's definitely a battle for the transition, but worth working on it. So this has been so amazing, Liz. I love how your brain works. I love how your eyes just see opportunities everywhere and just like, okay, how can I automate this? How can I make this better? Because I think that, and then sharing it with other people, right?
Absolutely.
Sharing Fluencer Fruit, and then sharing the tools that you're creating for moms and for women entrepreneurs and things like that are going to help others just be better and do better. Because let's face it, like the better we all do, the better this world will be.
100%.
So let's be kind and let's lift each other and be awesome like Liz.
Oh, thank you. And like Nicole.
So thank you so much, Liz. We'll have all the stuff for Liz, link for Fluencer Fruit, link to her stuff down in the description below. And make sure you follow Fluencer Fruit over on her YouTube channel. And we'll see you on the next video.